Hmm. Let's see here. Where am I at? Is this working? Oh, oh my goodness! It's the big chicken. Well, let's not do that. Let's take a break. Take a break from the Beverly Hillbillies for a little bit. Let's see what I've got here. Hmm. Trying to find us. Show preview window. Hello. Oh, is there a preview window? Hey guys, here I am. I finally made it. Trying to get fancy on you, it just didn't work. So, hey you guys, I've been busy working in my garden, but I've also been doing the stuff on the side. I've been listening, trying to come up with another lesson for you. It's not like there's not millions of them out there to go by, but I didn't want to waste your time on things that we already gone over a million times. And one of those things that I thought we'd talk about was Abraham. We have to take it way back to him. He's responsible for tithing. He's also responsible for circumcision. And the guy did it to himself. Can you believe that? All right. Well, we're led to believe that, he had to do it. God told him to do it. But anyways, that's what I'm talking about today. I just think that, that this got a little out of hand. This, taking this literally. Because what we've got to understand is when something is circumcised, it's being cut. It's being cut away from the skin. And so what we recognize is, removing your garments. That's the type of, when you cross over as that child within us, when we cross over as that baby, as that child, we're coming over in spirit. And so when that happens to you, you're joined. It's a 1, 2, 3, and you're cooking with the Lord now. That's just a program with that. And so what you get from that is a new mind, which becomes the new heaven and the new earth. All right. Along with being bridled, the beasts now, both sides of the mind are now working together as one. So one is not rogue anymore. The carnal mind is not out there on its own. It's being assisted by its female partner that's built in to your body as a natural way of doing this, And when it comes down to the circumcision, you will find that, they ask, what do you benefit? Profit is the word from it. That means to benefit from being circumcised or uncircumcised. And Jesus and these apostles were all, circumcised, so to say. They're not real. The idea is that when you separate the emotions from the lower mind, when you separate from that and you have joined this higher conscious, that's what it means to cut off from the lower, because you're no longer serving the lower mind anymore. It hasn't got anything to do with your penis, Although, when you think about it, it could have everything to do it, a lot to do it, but to remove this protective covering off of the male's gland leaves the female out of the picture altogether. I mean, now you wonder why they're not allowed to tell things or go into being, priests and stuff like that. They're just totally left out. But we know that she is there. We know very well that it's because of her that they get this circumcision. All right. And they would think this is supposed to be good for their health, and but in the Bible it comes out to say, God made us perfect already. We didn't need any extra, nothing. And so it doesn't benefit you to be circumcised, and it doesn't benefit you to not be circumcised. So one way or the other, it doesn't matter. But to not get it correctly, and just chopping off your skin is is an outside approach to slipping out of your garments, and taking off your shoes. It's all that is, But then this is another thing, like, it's to read things literally, is kind of crazy. But you'll see that, Abraham, he actually, he is circumcised when he is 90 years old. 90 and 9 years is what they say, 90 and 9. So it's a double nine, it's a double consciousness, it's both sides working together. It's uh, that's when he gets circumcised, and he has to do himself, he has to do his household, and he has to do his slaves. That's 3. I want you to know what 3 is. That slave is that spiritual side of us. We are the slave. We are also this father. We are the individual himself. And it's just interesting how everything works out. Jesus, after he is born, it's 8 days after, and 8 days is a control situation that brings about consciousness. This is the number 8 is, but in that's Gospel of Luke, and we get chapter 2:21. So you get the God's creation with 3:21, the idea of connecting, becoming more. Let's see. What we said, this begotten and unbegotten. Begotten is what happens when the mind and our emotions get together and create something. Like begotten Judas or begotten Jesus. These are things that you bring to life in order to come about it. Like, I was always saying to people, I said, you need to bring the essence of Moses to life. If you've had enough of this world that you've been living, you're just tired of it all, and you want, I'm out of this. Let my people free. And this is an element that you bring up inside of you when you've just had enough, and it's an emotionally driven thought. All right, and so this is a begotten situation. And so, but you'll find out that what it is the unbegotten Son is in the bosom of the Father. So, and Jesus is unbegotten. Our spiritual side that we wake up and send on this message for us, he's this side. Aaron Aaron is this side. We have Cain and Abel. We have Abel is this side. He's the one that counts the sheep. He's the one that works for the sheep. And let's see what I was wanting to get at. But I don't have a whole lot of. I just have to X this down and go through some of the real life situations, the stories. Because most of these things, these are showing up in Genesis 17. Verses 10 through 14, but I'm going to go through Genesis 17. That's 8. All right. This is that control factor, which is why Jesus himself, or when people are born, 8 days later, they're supposed to be in this. But remember, 8 is this after, the days of creation are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They rest on Sunday. This is when it happens. And then 8 becomes this bum, bum, bum. This is the feast day party, and everyone goes around, oh, what happened to me? And this and that. Oh, and everyone comes and get healed and everything. That's that day of reborn, being rebirthed. This is when Abraham is brought to life. He gets the H. The H is aspiration, so he's brought to life. Abraham never existed. Abraham is you. All right. You're also Jesus. You're also Moses. You're King Solomon. You're all these people. You're also all these gals. All right. When they ever get used, you're also her. So, anyways, this thing that protects the head and the penis and things like that, it's just beyond me to think that that if. When God tells them that, this is a thing between you and me, and anybody who ain't in this is going to be cut off from the group. And so it's an outwardly sign, So, these people aren't running around naked. So, what these Roman soldiers used to do, they used to say, oh, yeah, are these guys Jews or are they Christians or whatever. Because Christians weren't really told to do it, although they're saying you got to do it, there's like this, well, the world's doing it. I got it. I'm not Jewish. I didn't have any say so, you know. And after learning a lot about penises, I wished I'd still had it. But anyways, it's really meant that God already got you perfect as it is, even for your religion. He has your own mother of us all that we can connect to, which is what this channel of mine is about, to how to read past the surface of the Bible and into its spirit and find out what the true message is. And now we're finding out it's just a two-part message. The one outside is the easy one. Everyone can get that one. But this inside one, if you're not ready to hear it, then all I'm doing is making noise in front of you and you don't understand what I'm saying. But anyways, I'm going to X this down for just a moment and go and read from this particular Genesis, chapter 17. All right, this is about 8. This is about that change and control. All right, and it's let me see, where's it at? Genesis. I thought I had it. Here it is. All right, let's see if we can't read through it fast. And those people, this is a hearing test. If you can come and find it, this is Genesis chapter 17, and it's the King James version. It's always the King James because you can't get the right wording from the rest of these things. All right. 17. And when Abram was 90 years and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make a covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly. 3. And Abraham fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations shall I made thee, have I made thee. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make thee nations of these, and kings shall come out of thee. This is number 6. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, and thy generations for everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, to be the seed after thee. This is 7. This is our reward. And 8. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after me the land wherein thou art a stranger, and the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. This is the two coming together. You understand this idea? When you're coming into the land that you are a stranger to is the good side, and he's going to give you both for an everlasting possession. That's 8. That's what that means. 9. And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou, and thy seed after thee, and their generations. That's a really good thing. I mean, that's after yourself and the rest of the time that you ever exist in this entire universe is going to be on the brighter side of things. I guess unless you make your mind up. But right now, as soon as you do this, and you don't know how many life cycles you've gone through to finally make this place. All right. So that was 9. So it starts again with 10, and it goes on through here. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep, between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. That's the opening statement for 1. 2. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in this house or brought with money of a stranger. Bought with money of a stranger, that's pretty interesting, which is not of thy seed. Number 13. He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with money, must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be with your flesh for an everlasting covenant. Number 14, which is 5, talking about the body. And the uncircumcised man, child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, thy soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. Number 15. And God said unto Abraham, as for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. She got the H too. Remember, they're together. That's the two sides of their brain. Remember, that's what 8 is. All right? That's what they're talking about here. That's what we're learning about, is what it means. To cut off the lower is to join up with God. Join up with the right side of the brain. And you're no longer feeding from the lower side. All right? You've got the breath of God in you now. All right. And God said to Sarah, thy wife, what does it says? What does he says? Oh yeah, I went up here. 16, which is 7. And I will bless her. She's the 7th. All right. Number 16. And I will bless her and give her thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. All right. 17. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed, and he said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? Right? All right. Look, she's 90 years old, and he is 90 and 9. All right. So that'd be 99, right? That's kind of crazy. It still comes out to a 9, no matter what you do with that. All right, 8 and 1 or what have you, it still comes out to a higher conscious, which is what we're getting at. It's just the coolest stuff on earth, you guys. All right, and let's see. And remember, this is number 17, supposed to be about 8. All right, and 8 is when, in the story of Cinderella, at the end of the story, I know I look funny because I don't know what to look at right now when they're not showing. Maybe right here I should look. In Cinderella, at the end of the story, after they've all come together and all the magic is over with and they're connected together, there was 8 horses that draw this carousel of hers, you know, this pumpkin or whatever, the carriage. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for 4 to come together. That 8 is everyone's coming together. So it's really this idea of both sides of the brain are now locked together as one. That's what we've wanted. All right. Let's see. I don't know if I want to. Oh, here it is. Here, we're going to go down here just a little bit further till we get down to it. And let's see. And he left talking to them, and God went up from Abraham. Let's see. 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, and Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. And he set off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in the house, and all that were bought with money, you know, every male amongst the men in Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of the foreskin, and that same self, that I get that mixed up, but this shows up this is how I see this pattern. This is in Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the self same day as God had said unto him. That self same, we'll do this, we'll Google self same, and you'll see that it's always describing this action that's happening within the same time. Everything's happening. It's happening within the same day. All right. It's really cool. And that's number 23. That's 5. All right. So, and Abraham was 90 years and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. That's also when he got renamed. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. All right. So what do we get out of 13? We get a 4. All right. So his world changed on him. All right. That's what that means. And the self same day, well, actually, this firstborn represents the angel that changes. He's the other 4. You're 4 and he's the 4. He's the high 4. All right. And 6, 7, 8. So number 26, which is 8 again. In the self same day was Abraham circumcised and Ishmael his son. All right. That was because they both went up there. There's always the 2 witnesses or something. 27. And all the men of his house, born in the house, and bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him. That's a whole lot of penis going down, you guys. That's a lot. All right? And, of course, in one of these stories, they have them, throwing the foreskins to some guy. He's like, I want the foreskins of these such and such a people, So could you imagine that, running around cutting people's penises off? This Bible's just nuts, just absolutely nuts. But it's all about the penis. I've talked about this before on most of my channel, earlier in times. The idea of ball, it's not ball, your balls. But it does bring you down to the lower idea when you're thinking about sodomy and stuff like that, and people that... the sodomites, these are people that live off the lower mind. And, once they start yelling about queers doing this and queers doing that, and you'll find that in the Bible that the true fornicators, the true people that are out there sending up a storm are your religious guys, your believers and your non-believers. But you guys that are like me, learn how to read the Bible correctly and are getting our just rewards for being just a little wiser and understanding the Bible is 2-sided, and there's your choice. You can live the top of this, the carnal side, live a life of war and pestilence, wars and rumors of wars. Of course we're going to have them. They've been doing it for a long time, but we've learned that that's the outside world, is part of the works. See, the outside of the Bible is part of the works. Most of us in here are coming here because we did believe in the outside of the Bible. We love God. We love Jesus. We loved all these characters, regardless of how screwed up they are. We really do. Really do. They're part of us. When we found that out, it's a lot better, because you find that we could never be these people the way that they've been teaching us, that these are all untouchables. But then you find out with Jesus himself, he says, you guys are the image of me. God tells us, I made you in my image, in our image, the Elohim. See, even I get a little messed up. But you guys understand me, But the idea is that God is a we and not he. And that's the very first deception you have to get over with. And that they're not disconnected from you unless you choose this. And you don't choose him by just saying, I choose you. You have a little maze to walk. You have a way to walk, and you have a law to keep. And so, this idea of chopping off your penis and stuff like that, it's not going to get you anywhere. There's no covenant. Nothing's going to save you. You're just marked. And, Jesus just said, you just are a brand new human being, you know, because from the outside, you're not natural anymore. You've been augmented for whatever reason. You've gone and chopped off part of your penis, And the other part is that when you successfully cut off what is below from what is above, or if you can cut off what is above from what is below, you got a whole new life. That's the way it works. All right. So Abraham never existed. He didn't have to exist to keep telling the same story over and over again. Just like Jesus, he didn't have to exist. He didn't have to be tortured and destroyed for our salvation. When it's strictly symbolically playing the part of an electrical energy in a conduit system within the body. All right. This is an invisible system. You can't cut us open and find it. But it's very well been noted that there's this beautiful place inside of us that could take us where we want to go. And that is to escape from this little world of ours. It's this little funny little maze. And we don't get out of the world, but we get out of that mindset, We get out of being afraid all the time. And it took all of those wars and things of wars, and you just want to detach from it. You want to get away from mankind and and you still have to put up with it, but that's the thing of it. But you bring light into the world now. So it's not just, you sit still and be a hermit, I've listened to the Tao, over and over again, trying to figure out how best I should go about myself. It's be natural. Just do your thing. Don't stop doing the things that you love. And if they were things that you loved and they're gone now, well, they may have been just bad for you, Like with mine, I haven't been out drinking and karaokeing, in a while. I'm actually sticking to that, and I haven't had a headache in a while, which is wonderful. But anyways, I just thought that I would, give you a little hands-on experience of what circumcision is about, and just how the simple mind really wants to attach to God. And this is just talking about the way and the law. That's all this is. It doesn't mean to cut something physical off your body. It just doesn't do anything for you. Didn't do anything for me, But anyways, 90 years old when these people got theirs. All right. So that's a long time to go, to have to wake up one day and told you to get out of your father's land, So he wakes up and he starts bashing all of these gods and stuff that his father had laying around, That would be like you and I waking up one day and just starting to, throw everything out the window that you ever had, your record collection, and all these things that you've been holding on to all your life and that were very important to you, and eventually come down to nothing, But in reality, we find that that's not just that have to be taken from you. You don't just give it away and think this is it. It's like, oh, I'm going to cut my penis off. That'll bring me closer to God. No, it's not going to happen. No, you have to sow the seeds correctly, and that's part of what I'm helping you with. That's why I'm turning to a gardener. I'm going to be the seed sower. And showing people how to sow the seed as well, because you don't have to, keep giving people seeds. You show them how to go out there and sow the seeds themselves. All right, like fishing. You can keep getting fish, which means the truth. You can go out there and find that truth yourself. But I know how weak the flesh is, and I want to give you a heads up. A little help. But anyways, that's what we're looking for. All right. One quick little thing about that down there, it's male or female, represented here. It's just your mind. And we know that the female side is very much a part of this. And because it's neglected and not openly accessible or readable or found, something you can find in the surface of the Bible, you have to understand that that's its nature. Its nature is to hide her and put her behind something. But she's the mother of nations. She's the mother of us all. She's a very important part of this energy. And if you can get that one little point across in your brain, a lot of the rest of this will fall in place. Okay? It's a female energy, which doesn't have any genitals on it whatsoever. All right? I love you guys. I'll chat with you soon. Right? Peace.